Hey guys, thanks for watching. I just found something else with debit call and debit put options. In my last video I said, using the 30-minute, you want to wait till the VWAP is over the line, but check this out. I have marked on every time there is an expiration, options expiration for SPY. So SPY has options expire 3 times a week, right? So watch this. When you have a debit or credit put, a debit put or debit call option expiring the next day, that's kind of like a binary option. For whatever place that you make it, let's say, here, let me, well, I'm not going to show you Robinhood right now, but right here, this expires, okay? This is the one time this didn't really work, but what I do is, I look, is it in a red zone? See the control line? It's green, okay? Remember I was talking spikes before? So let me give you an example. So the control line right here is green. So on this date, on February 1st, this put option, this call option will expire, all right? So what we do is, we go back to about noon, all right? And we buy at the money call option right here. And so then the next day, because it's green, we make sure it stays green all the way close. And the next day, boom. Okay, so right over here, the control is red. So that's going to be a put debit spread, right? So now we know it's going to expire the next day. Okay, so the day before at about noon, we see this is red. Okay, the control part is red. It's also in a red spike, but most of all, the control line, CM control line is red. And at noon, so that means it's red, so then we buy a credit put. I'm sorry, a debit put. I'm confusing debit and credit. You don't want the credit one. You are spending money, not getting money into your account. So a debit put. We buy that at about noon, and the next day, boom, okay? This happens about 80% of the time. So let's see, where are we here? You don't want to buy when it comes off the line at around noon. You want it to follow pretty much the control line. Because when it jumps off, you're kind of losing your value right away. Because check this out. So it's red, right? Now the value that you want is to have the candlestick stick to the red because you want it to go down the next day. But if it already goes down at noon, you're already losing your built-in value. So we would skip this one. So let's go to this expiration date. So once again, each one of these blue arrows is an expiration date for SPY options, okay? And so what we're doing, here's the gist. What we're doing is the day before each expiration date, which is Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, we're looking to see where this is on the chart and if it's green or red. If it's red, we're going to do puts. If it's green, we're going to do calls. Okay, so let's look at this one. So this expiration date right here is on the 26th. So on the 25th, the day before, we're going to go back to about noon. See, and we like this because it's on the control line. See this? At about noon. So we buy credit, I'm sorry, we buy debit call options, okay? Debit call options right here at the money. So whatever it was at like 431, so that we're doing like 431, 432. Probably spend about 50 cents, okay? And then the next day, boom, we're up here at about 442. So all of a sudden your 50 cents went to $1 overnight, okay? Now let's go back over here. Okay, this expires over here, and let's go to back to about noon. Now, even though it's off the line, it's not recently off the line. Okay, like right here, this is recently off the line the same day. This has been off the line, but it's been following a parallel pattern off the line, and the big drop off the line happened the day before. So although this is off the line, that's the exception. I don't want, when it comes off the line, I don't want to do it the same day where, like here's noon, it's a little too late. But since this was already, off the line from the day before, it's traveling parallel to the control line, we can still use this one. All right, so we're going to go to about noon, okay? And, the control line is red, okay? And then, boom, next day, your option, your debit put option doubles. So there are some times when this doesn't work. Like let's look at this one right here, the 19th. Okay, so it came off here. Actually, you'd pretty much break even money. So if around noon You purchased the debit put spread option, and then the next day you're kind of at the same money. You're not really gaining, you're not really losing. So I guess you're okay on that one. But this tends to work, I'd say, most of the time, probably 80 to 90%. Now let's look at this one. It expired on the 14th, so the day before on the 13th. It's red, and we go to about noon, and it's on the line, close to the line, and we like it, and then the next day you'd make money. Now, there are some times, now you want to be watching this all the way to close. Like, let's look at yesterday. Let's look at the market close yesterday, for example. At the last minute, it flashed green. You'd probably want to get out there. Okay, the control line all of a sudden went green because it might jump. All right, so I don't know what's going on. When all of a sudden the control line changes color the latter part of the day, I tend to not get in this because that's showing indecisiveness with the traders. So let's say you were out here. Let's say you went to about noon and you got in, and you know it was red. And it looks like it's going to go down Monday. And all of a sudden, the last minute, the last half hour of the day, it turns green. I would just bail out of the trade. Okay, I don't know what's going to happen on Monday now. As a little side, all right, so that you just do it like that. So when it's red, you do debit puts. When it's green, you do debit calls. You get in and around noon if it's close to the line, and then you just sell it the next day. Let's see if we can find any more. See if we can find any more here. Okay. So what we had here at noon, it was green, and all of a sudden it changed, and I still would have gotten out of here because look, red spike. What's going on here? And then let's see, 8:30 green. So yeah, you had green and you had a red spike, which is like a contradiction. So I wouldn't have traded that. Okay, I want smooth, making sense. I don't want a red spike in the middle of a green, control bar. That should be, if this is red, this should be red, and I don't like that. And right here at noon, about right here, you would have made even money. You would have been okay, but you wouldn't have made any money there. So about 80-90% of the time, this is good. And another good thing is, it's kind of either or, unless you come out even money. It's like either you make money or you lose money. It's binary because if it's above where you bought it, when you're going for calls, you're making 100%. If it's below, it's zero. It's binary, because with a debit or a call or a debit put, you're going between two prices, like one right next to each other, like 448, 449. If it's above 449 and it goes up, then you make 100%. If it's below, it'll eventually go to zero before 11 a.m. So I kind of like this. It's an instant decision the next day during expiration. One more thing I wanted to show you. If you want to see what's going to happen the next day, I tend to look at three things. I look at the 5 minutes, I look at the 30 minutes, and I look at the daily. So let's say you want to know what's going to happen here Monday. Let's look at all three and see what the vote is. And I go with the best 2 out of 3. So right here, for the 30 minute with my indicator, it looks like it's going to go up. See, this sort of bottom here. It looks like it might travel up and keep going up. So this vote is up for Monday. Now let's look at the 5 minute. Now the 5 minutes vote is down. You could see this indicator is up here. Stochc RSI looks like it's going to be on its way down. It looks like it already started here. Now let's look at the 1 day. See what the 1 day's vote is. The 1 day's vote is up. Okay, it's down here at the bottom. It looks like it might go up. You got a coil spring formation. It might be a little bit of a pop here. So on that respect, it looks like it's going to be up on Monday, and there's a green the last second here. So one option you had was you bought puts here. At the last minute, you could have reversed it when you saw green and bought debit calls. So that's another thing you could have done. But I tend to just stick with one thing or another and then get out if I see something get screwy towards the end of the day. If you get in here, you want to see constant red. Okay, if you get in with puts, you want a red line, and you don't want any green. You don't want any green spikes at the last hour or two or last half hour. You want things even. So red, 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 green, green. You don't want things to change up. So you do have to monitor this for the rest of the day until market close if you want to play this. So, all right, guys, thank you very much for listening.